Hello everyone, George here, and we are back again in our kitchen trying to finish up the UV unwrapping on this stove. So we had finished, I believe, the top here, these little plates here that go over the top to stop the thing from actually contacting the flame, and this outer part here. Now we need to start looking at the other elements. It looks like the entire thing here needs to be done. These need to be finished. Knobs are done. This needs to be finished. Those need to be done. So pretty much everything. So why don't we go ahead and start with something simple like this object right here. And we can go ahead and do a UV planar y-axis apply. And the reason I'm coming at it from the y-axis is there's a lot of stuff internal to that we have to deal with. So why don't we go ahead and actually hide those elements we've already completed. So let's just get rid of that entire group as well. And you know what, why don't we go ahead and start unwrapping a few of these other elements at the same time. So let's come at this from the x-axis. That's great. And we'll do the same thing for this little guy here. Okay, that's fine. And I believe this one's done. So if we go here and unfold, there's really not a whole lot to unfold. Let's orient that. And we're going to go ahead and hide that, Control H. And with this element too, I believe other than the grill in the front, there's not a whole lot going on. Now, if we go ahead and try to do anything, now let's see here. This just opens up. It doesn't actually have, does it have a long segment? So there's the big box part. Okay, so there isn't much to this at all. It just sits there as a plate. All right, well, this is going to be a disaster, but we're going to unfold it anyway. As you can see, that's not exactly what we want. And the question now becomes, where do we want to make some cuts to see if we can't relieve any of this stress that's built up between the elements? And I'm trying to think, I mean, yes, cuts here are going to do something, but they're literally not going to do much. And in fact, we may want to now go in here and modify the geometry ever so slightly and do something like, whoops, this, just so that we're dealing with some triangles that aren't going to be stretched across the entire surface. So there we are. And we could do the same thing again if we wanted to. We could do this here and stretch this out to this side as well. And we can stretch this element right there out all the way to this side. Just trying to make it so that things are a little better. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's still 5-sided. That's going to get cut up into triangles right there and there. But that's fine. At least it's not cutting it into triangles all the way across here and back, which could cause some lighting issues, which I just don't want to deal with. So thinking about this, we can always, if we wanted to, make a slice literally right down this center point. Now let's just take a look at and see how that's going to handle. Let's grab both elements, unfold, unfold. And we can see that helps out quite a bit, actually. So let's go to orient really fast, and still pretty nasty. Part of it is going to be because of these internal segments right here. Each of these little grill areas is kind of causing some problems. So we can remove them if we want to. Now at this point, this is where it becomes, do I just leave this heavily distorted, or do I try to straighten it out a little bit? And right now I'm still interested in trying to make it less distorted. So we're going to put selection constraint angle on 5 and grab these elements here. And what I'm going to do is then grow those selections out a little bit. So actually we could probably grab this entire internal segment right there. Actually, we can go one better, can't we? And rip that entire thing. Actually, let's do UV planar and do another X on that and just rip that out. And now let's see what happens when we unfold that. Now that comes out a lot better, which I'm a lot more happy with. So let's go to orient. Yeah, that's a lot better. And of course we can try to optimize that a little bit to try to get any of those little bits of it that are kind of not squared up a little bit straighter. Now I'm kind of interested in recombining these elements. So let's go ahead and do that just to keep things together. And we can unfold these elements, and it looks like we're still going to have some issues here. And let's go ahead and slice it back up and unfold again. And now we've got some really nasty stuff going on. The unfolding process is actually hurting us more than helping us. And really, it's suggesting that we make some pretty interesting cuts to our geometry. For instance, right here and here. If we go ahead and unfold those and we orient them, we'll see that these bottom segments now are better off there and there. And of course, now this begs the question of, this is a very large piece of geometry, and leaving it that kind of open or that long is going to cause problems with the rest of the geometry that's going to be laid down with. So where should I make the cut here? That's a good question. Do I make the cut across this, or do I make the cut across here? This has a little distortion. It looks like most of the distortion is coming from this element right here. So I would be tempted to slice this way and make a cut and unfold each of those much better and orient both of them. Now we've got lots of individual segments. Now we are going to be handling this in Substance Painter, which means it matters a little less than usual. It's not like, uh-oh, did you see that? So unwrapping these elements went to heck real fast. So I'm going to grab everything really fast and we're going to do a couple optimizations here and there. And once again, it's going to be okay. I'm more concerned about slicing it up into so many pieces than anything else. But once again, things should come out easier in Substance Painter. So we've got, let's see, one packing iteration, allow you for 90-degree rotations, shell padding. Let's go ahead and hit apply and let it be its thing. Let's do it. Let it do its thing. All right. Not wonderful. I think I would rather have some of these elements. Let's see, what is this? These are those two, and this is this, and that one is that side. So yeah, I think I would much rather grab these two and rotate them. Let me just make sure I have the right side here. That's the right side. No, these are wrong. So let's go back to rotate. And that's correct, and that's correct. Now let's go back to my layout. And for right now, just turn off rotation and see what we get. So these are not rotated in the same orientation, this one and this one, which is kind of annoying. So let's go ahead and rotate clockwise. And let's just place these elements somewhere. Okay, that's fine for right now. So anyway, we've got that done, so we can hide that out. Now we're left with this and this, and these handles. So the handles are the same. So once we do one of these, we should be ready to go. So let's go ahead and do an X. And let's see, does this have a back piece to it? Does not, just kind of sunken in. So my recommendation would be probably to just slice it up along the backside and let it kind of fan out. We'll do a cut, grab both, unfold, unfold, and orient. And that's not a very good orientation right there. So let's move one of these off, move the other one off, and rotate this till it's relatively vertical. There we go. That's looking pretty good. Now we can just take that, grab the next one, go to Mesh, Transfer Attributes, and we got our UV set up. Now it looks like there might have been some kind of a freeze problem because my normals just got inverted, which means I probably mirrored something over. So if we go over to Modify and Freeze Transforms, I just want to make sure scale is set. That's correct. I want to go to Edit, Delete by Type, History on that object. And now let's try to reverse that object. And we can just see we got a big issue right there with reversing it. If we go to Shading and turn on Backface Culling, which we do have on, now we're seeing through the object. So that's an issue, which means my normals are probably jacked up. So let's go ahead and Mesh Display, reverse it again, go to Mesh Display, Soften Harden Edges, and that still didn't do anything. So can we unlock normals? Let's try that. That's still giving me problems. What's the material on this object? That's the next question. So we just have a Fong 1. So let's grab both of these really fast. Edit, Delete by Type, and History. And we're going to probably delete this one and just duplicate this one. So we have Stove, Cabinet Handle Left. I'm going to duplicate Cabinet Handle Left. And let's just put the pivot somewhere easy. DV up there at the top. Move that over to the other side. Grab the other one, delete that. Rename this to Right. R-I-G-H-T. Enter, save. And we're going to just ignore the fact that everything fell apart. Now we've got both of these. We can go ahead and we're going to wait on that actually. Might as well wait because we need to do these doors. And the doors should be the same. So we should be able to copy the UVs once we do it on one. So we'll go ahead and do our planer, and we need to make a slice, and that slice is probably going to be right along this edge right here. Let's go ahead and do a cut, rip the UVs apart, and that's the outside, and this is the inside. I'm not going to bother. See, if I unfold this, it's going to come out, well, it's all right, I guess. There's not a whole lot of geometry, so it didn't really do anything bad. But that's all we really need to do for that object. Might as well copy this and paste it over there. So mesh, let's see, what do we want to do? We want to go to mesh, transfer attributes, hit apply, and it looks like our UVs are set up properly. Nope, they did not go along. Let's grab this again. I need to be in object mode. That's probably a good idea. Mesh, transfer, hit apply. Nothing's transferring, it's topology. It's component. Well, you know what? It doesn't really matter. This is such a simple fix that all we really need to do is go to UV, planer, and make that cut again right there. Do a cut. Let's go to object mode again and separate these two objects. There we are. Unfold, unfold. Did you unfold? I guess you did. All right. And there we are. That's pretty much it. Now, I do need to check really quick to make sure that things are right side up. So if we go to shaded, we'll notice that both of these are actually flipped. So we're going to want to flip them. So let's pull out our UV editor. Not that one. Where's the show UV toolkit? That's what we want. We want to do a flip, transform, and flip. And actually, you know what? It looks like I screwed something up there. Why? How come they're red? Flip. All right, let's flip, flip. They should be blue. See? See, that side's wrong. So if we flip that side, everything's okay. Now we go to this object here, and you notice it's almost like there's two of it. If we grow this selection and hit delete, there were two doors there. Did you see that? Oh, no, wait. So there's this. So we're going to grab this entire face, this thing right here, go to UV and do a planer on that. And it almost looks like there's doubled up geometry. There is. No, there's not. Is it? Am I seeing slightly transparencies or something? If I delete that, that's fine. Now if I go to this face here, did something get screwed up massively? If we grow, see, look at this. What is all this? Is there's something in, there's that part. If we go to edge mode, and then we do a bridge really fast. That didn't do anything. Okay, so what we're going to do is we know the other one works. I'm not sure what happened. Apparently when I was doing mirroring, at some point, everything kind of just fell apart. So if we go to W, we notice that, okay, so right now it doesn't really matter. So we can duplicate this object, and where's a pivot? Where's a good pivot for this? WDV, probably there. No, there. And we're going to need to flip this. So let's right click, go to mirror mode, and do a flip. We want to do this locally. So we'll do bounding box. We want to do this across the Z-axis, hit apply, and where did it go? It's interesting. Let's just do object. Frame up. Now that we have that working, I should be able to just plop this in place, and we should be ready to go. Oh, it flipped it along the wrong side. Did you see that? All right, delete that. Control D. Let's right click. It doesn't even matter right now, so what does it matter? So who cares? We're just gonna grab it, pop it, and place it, and ignore it. Okay, much better. Let's rename this left. Cabinet, stove 1G. We can probably rename this just right. Okay, so those are both done. Their pivots are a little jacked up, but that's fine. These things will come and fix later on when we actually add the functionality to open each door. Okay, so we've got that. Let's go to modify, center the pivots on both, just so that things are reset. We might as well modify, center the pivot on that too. Okay, so these are done. Hide them out. Now we're left with pretty much the entirety of the stove. And the stoves are not going to get moved out, which means we should probably remove these elements right here. Now, part of me says don't. Let it be a modular object that we could use any way that we want to. Because obviously we're going to get to the sides, so the sides need to be there. But really, the backs and the bottoms don't need to be there, and they are going to take up a large amount of space. So let's just go ahead and get rid of them after all. So let's do UV, do planar. We'll come at this straight from the x-axis. We're going to need to make some cuts immediately. Now, why is that piece right there not properly aligned? Let's go ahead and turn this off. So this piece right here has buckled out for some reason, and we are going to fix that really fast. Much better. Cuts are going to be probably here. Now we're going to need to hide some other things. So let's press up, hide, and let's get rid of a sync too for the moment. Frame up on this. So the sides are going to need to get cut off. Now that I've got that, okay, that should be fine. But the sides probably need to get cut off here and here. That's going to probably be a separate material, everything above there. So that can go as well. So let's go ahead and right click and cut right there. So that entire upper piece should now come off, and we can do a UV planar on that y-axis and move that there. So with that, we can go in here if we wanted to. Actually, we can probably do it right here. Cut that entire piece out and just move it. And then we can unfold that, and then we can get rid of the problems by doing this. And there we are, and orient, so there we are. Now we need this large piece to get cut up, and really there isn't a good seam, it looks like. The seam gets buckled in and down, which kind of stinks. I mean, we could do these ones right here, but even these get kind of pushed off to the sides. So yeah, not great places to make cuts. I mean, if we wanted to, we could do something like this. I'm just worried about how things are going to show up later on. So I'm thinking the first thing we're going to do is, see, what is that? Why is that like that? See that, how that comes out? Now, who pushed that in? Or is that not in? That's just because there's such a huge, that's such a nasty slice. I almost want to do this really fast, multi-cut, and go here and just slice this up along the back so that we don't have that problem anymore. Then I can just take this, straighten it out, and straighten that there. And I guess that doesn't really fix anything because this is still a dangling edge right there. But do I need that edge now is the question. And the answer is no, I don't. So that can go away. And we're going to do the same thing over here just to clean this up a little bit before we get any deeper into things. Okay. You. Straighten them out. Great. And straighten that out. And then get rid of that. Save. Okay. Better. I almost want to do the same thing for this front piece too now. I'm trying to see, I mean, would it really affect anything? I don't think so. Doesn't look like, oh, it does. It rides that edge right there. Let's at least do this. Let's grab all of this. Now, I'm going to turn off the display because it's just messing me up at this point. Please go away. There we go. Much better. This whole thing here, I don't know why it's slightly raised up, but this whole thing can be used and separated, I think. So let's go ahead and create UV shell, move this off, unfold that, and of course we get some issues, but we should be able to just sort of make a couple cuts and heal a lot of those problems. That's better. The issue is coming along from this little piece right there. So let's do this and this. Better. Getting some overlap right there, so that was a mistake. So really, this is the piece that can come out. The one that's inside can't really come apart. So we might as well just do this one and leave this one by itself because it's just going to cause some issues. That's better. And really, if I wanted to, we would probably make a cut. Oh, you need to be recombined, don't you? Not snap, weld, merge, merge. There we go. Did I mess that up down here too? Yeah. Merge, unfold. Now this makes me almost want to just cut the bottom piece off completely. so it doesn't interfere with the rest of everything. So just do this. Now it does cause a little bit of an issue right there where that piece is coming off. So when we're doing our UVs, that might be kind of nasty, but it at least straightens up this piece really nicely, which I kind of like. I'm going to optimize this a few times. Same thing with the other piece. Do another orient after that, and we'll let that be. So that's the back piece. So we're still dealing with this one, which is just huge in comparison to everything else. And then we have this piece here, which if we unfold right now, is going to give us kind of a mess. Which makes me want to cut this piece off. Now these are going to fan out even further, so they need to get cut off. So let's just cut these right here really fast. And this piece came out all right, but this piece, these other pieces didn't. And that's probably because of this piece right here. So let's just see what happens here. And these are nasty. And what's making them nasty is this entire piece right here, it looks like. So if we cut them, unfold those, it's a little bit better. But it looks like the issue goes deeper than that. It also goes to this edge here and this edge here. So if we make cuts on those edges and allow those to open up, what happens? Oh, nothing good, that's for sure. So what about this? What if we do, now I'm going way above and beyond what I should be. I should just stop at some point, but I'm kind of interested in just, see, that straightened out a lot better. We're kind of creating weird puzzle pieces now. I'm gonna optimize that a few times, reorient them. Okay, can I optimize that too? All right, unfold it actually, that's better. Okay, so we've got these pieces. It's cut up in quite a lot of pieces. But you know what? We'll see if it works out when we get into substance. So now we need to cut these sides off. Now the bottom here is probably going to be one of those rubbery materials that blocks you from, kicking it and making things nasty. So we can go ahead and separate that completely off, I think. So let's go ahead and make a cut and grab that and unfold that. And that should just become a long, yeah. And in order to deal with the length of the object, we can make cuts here and on the other side. And I don't really see any issue coming along with that. Just double checking here. Those can go over here. And now we've got this piece, which needs to be separated, the inside from the outside. So we may as well go ahead and grab these edges right here, make those as cuts. Now the entire inner part should come out. And we just need to splice this up along the edges. Can't do that selection, so we'll do that one. There and there. That should free us up quite a bit, and we'll do the back as well. Okay, we'll do a cut now. Now this is probably going to cause some issues when we do the unfold, and it looks like I missed something. So let's see what we missed here. So it's this center seam. Oh, actually, oh, okay, yes. So we missed this entire piece needs to be separated into different parts. So is there a reason why I can't select things? There we are. So let's break this up, do a cut, and for some reason, what is this? F to frame up, and is that, I missed a piece it looks like, so we'll cut that. We'll grab everything now, unfold, unfold, and we'll do an orient really fast and much better. So there we go, insides are done. So that's, what is that? That's that side piece right there. And we're going to need to probably just do a UV, planar, Z-axis, apply, close, and move this up there as well. All right, so now for the main event, which is all of this. So we're going to need to cut this off here at these sides. So there we go. And here we are, right up along there. Let's go ahead and do a cut. And if we go to shell mode, we can grab these two shells, go to UV and planar. Now we have those two separated. Move one off from the other. There we are. And now we have this object, the front, and really there shouldn't be any distortion. We can right-click unfold, and that's an issue right there. Did you see that? So this piece down here is giving me problems. So as soon as something like that happens, right-click, shift right-click, merge verts, keep it at a ridiculously low number, see if that works. Now come over here, grab that again, do a planar, but this time from the x-axis, apply, and all we need to do now is unfold again, and we see what happens here, some real nastiness. So the last thing I really want to do is unfold this, but I do want to grab this bottom piece here, or the bottom edge at least, and pull them out, tuck it out from where it is. So we can grab those, do a UV, planar, y-axis, apply, and rotate that some way. Move that down here. Identify the right side, which is this one. So we can go back to UV shell, D, V, snap there, V snap to there, and then go back to UVs, grab all of these, and then right click, and we should be able to merge. And now we have it back together. So now that piece has been unwrapped without us using the sort of destructive mode of, oh, you know why we're having this issue? I'll tell you why. Because I've forgotten that there's also an inside to this. So it's all of this right here. So if we grab these pieces here, right click, and let's go to grow selection. Now we can rip that off. So we can do UV, planar, Y direction, apply, close. Now that should free up this entire thing, so it's not an issue anymore. But more importantly now, we need to cut this up into its pieces. And for something like this, we could really do this a number of different ways, but we might as well just, let's see, we could slice it up along each side if we wanted to, like this, and then let it unfurl, but that's going to create like a giant T type object, which might not be great if we're trying to conserve space. So if we do go ahead and do our cuts, and then we do our unfold here, you can see we have our giant T's right there. Once again, not the best for optimization, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut these off here and here, and unfold again. Won't do anything. Orient, and move that wherever. And if we have a, looks like we have a nice segment going down this center point right here, which we can use to cut this up, and at least break this into two separate pieces. Now we can also, if we'd like to, grab these and go ahead and create UV shells on these. And now at least everything's kind of broken up into separate elements. Hopefully will make things easier. So let's save this, F8, and let's go to display, show all. Actually, we just do stovetop, display, show selection. Now we have to determine, now that we've unwrapped everything, we need to determine what elements are going to be combined together, because there are a lot of them in this case. And they might not all fit properly. I mean, look how dense things are going to get already within our UV map. Therefore, it might be a good idea for us to place these elements together in one UV map, and then maybe the knobs and accessories in another one, and then the actual body in its own separate UV map. So that being said, why don't we go ahead and give this a start? So we'll grab all these elements right here. And can we just go to object mode, please? Thank you. And we're going to go to layout, UV layout. We're going to give this a second packing iteration just to make sure things are going okay. We're going to allow it to rotate our shells, and 6 pixels is probably fine. And let's hit apply and see what happens. All right, so let's take a look. Wow, that did a pretty good job actually. I'm happy with that. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is right click, new material, Fong, and let us give this a name. So first let's go to Edit Delete by Type History on this object. Go to Fong 2, and let's name this Stove Metal Top. How about that? _M, enter. So everything will be prefixed with the stove, and then the middle will be the name of it, and the _M will identify that it is a material inside of Maya. So now we've got all these smaller elements here. And it begs the question, do I want to include the handles as well? Probably not. So if we do all of this together, let's go to Shell Mode, right-click, Layout, UVW Layout. We're going to do the same thing again. Okay, let's take a look at that and see how it went. That's not so bad. It looks like we missed something. Oh, I didn't transfer the UVs from this one to that one. So let's do that really fast. Actually, no. It looks like I didn't even bother to cut this object up properly. Well, stupid me, right? Let's hit up and hide some of these elements once again. I probably forgot because I was trying to work around the object. Let's hide all of this too. Up. No. How about you? You and you. There we are. Frame up. And the first thing I would say is to cut off all this nonsense, or at least to, gosh, there's a lot of bevels on that for no reason. This is kind of ridiculous. I don't know what I was thinking when I was modeling this. Cut. We might need to come back and revise some of this if the performance is poor. We're going to make a cut around this entire object here now. Looks like we're all the way around, so we can go ahead, right-click, and make another cut. That should take off, whoops, this entire bit from the rest of it. So we can grab this now, go to planar, and it looks like we came at the wrong axis. Let's try this again. We want the, I believe, x-axis. There we are. And just to make this easier, we can, of course, split this up into its component parts. But before we do that, since I do have a bevel in here, I'm trying to look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a lot of... We could go in here and add cuts to make things a little bit cleaner if we wanted to. I'm trying to think in my head how the geometry is going to get cut. And we can do that. And with that being done, we can slice like this, but there's no clean cut, is there? So I'm going to have to do like this, which means we're going to have little dangly bits on the sides. Not my favorite thing to do. So now we can grab this entire thing, unfold it. Nothing really happened. Orient the shells. Nothing really happened. That's fine. Just move these off. And take a look at this thing now, this pan. And it might just be easiest to grab the center pieces and grow that out and slice that from the entire thing by creating a UV shell. And then just letting the edges right here bow outwards when we do the unwrap, and that way everything's nice and straight. So do a cut, right-click, UVs, unfold, unfold, and orient. Great. Now we just have this top piece, which also connects to the side pieces and the bottom piece. So the easiest thing probably is to just let this unfurl naturally by making slices there and there, there, and probably there. Now that top piece is going to come off, which is the only problem here. But other than that, we should be okay. Yeah, see that one separated. Orient that, and that's nice. So we're just going to let that be. Yeah, we got that little tiny straggler right there. And if we wanted to, we could try to combine that with this top piece over here. So bringing that onto this side, and then, well, actually not that side, with this piece here. But I'm just going to let it be at this point. So now I should just need to go to unfold this, and we've got some stresses going on here. We got some issues. It's buckling because of these pulling it in. These are kind of pushing everything out. So really you would want to make slices on these elements here. trying to figure out the best one. And of course, it's not going to let me because we got this weird little element in the center. And it might not be possible to actually make this one perfectly smooth from what I'm looking at right here. So what is that? What did I pick? I picked the one on the inside. So let's just do a test, and if it doesn't work, we'll go back and just let it be. Cut, unfold, unfold. That's better. Optimize it a couple times and orient it. And I'm happy with it. Okay, so that's that thing right there. Now we did change the geometry on this object, which means we're going to have to change it on the other. We're going to have to duplicate this object and move it over to the other side. So let's go ahead and DV, snap there, Control D, move this over, snap it to that side, grab the other stove tray. So can I grab both and deselect that one and then rename this one left? Enter. Okay, so with that, we should finally be done. So let's go ahead and grab everything. Go to Display, Show, Selection, and start working on things. So we did finish this stovetop thing, right? So let's grab all that and hide that for right now. Now we were working on this stuff, right? And this was the problem. So let's grab everything again, right click and layout, UVW layout and apply. All right, hit close. Very good packing. This element and this element are kind of nasty. And that's due to what looks like this piece right here. So if we come in here and we actually hide out these two, we can kind of see what's going on. And it's this buckled piece that goes inwards that's causing the issue, which means if we wanted to straighten this out, the easiest way to do that would be to completely separate this from everything else. So literally going in here and grabbing this and this piece here and all of this, really right-clicking and going to create UV shell and just moving that out of the way, and then doing the exact same process over here. And this should fix a lot of problems. Create shell, move that off, grab both of these, unfold. Already that's looking a lot better. And now all we really need to do is break this down into its basic pieces, the little tiny bits. Grab each of those, unfold, and orient. Much better. Very straight. That one's a little wonky for some reason. And that one is too. Where is that? Those are on these sides. And that looks like it's because it shouldn't be. What is going on there? Is there something on the inside that I'm missing? Yes, there is. There's an entire interface to this entire object that's getting pulled out. So what we can do is just grab these two and optimize them a little bit. And if that doesn't work, we can go ahead and try to straighten them out. So let's grab that, do straighten, and straighten. Better. Okay. Now, when we do these two, it's going to cause all kinds of problems. So we're actually going to go to UV, planar, and come at this again from the x-axis and reunite them and unfold it there. Now that I've unfolded it there, I'm going to make my cut and separate these two pieces so I don't have one piece of giant geometry that we're dealing with. And with that, once we orient it, we should be good to go with all these different objects being together in the same UV space. There we are. Grab everything and, oh, we need the trays. Display, tray, metal, this one and this one. Display, show, selection, and let's grab the rest of these objects as well. Oh, come on now. Just everything is about being able to make selections in these programs. So now we can go to layout UVW and hit apply. All right, and with that, we've got pretty good packing. I'm not going to change anything, I think. We're just going to let it be. Right click and assign new material, Fong, and this will be stove underscore panel underscore M. And now we can hide the panel. Now we could group all these objects together into one object. Why not? Call that panel. Just hide that out. Then we're going to grab all these, display, show, selection. Let's just make some organizational changes. Control G, and then call this top. And hide that out as well. So now we're just left with all this stuff. You might as well just grab it all and see what happens. Layout, UVW, and hit apply. Now those handles are going to get really tiny compared to the rest of the geometry, so I might need to artificially inflate the size of those. We've got pretty good coverage. Let's find the handles. So there's the handles right there, there, and there. Excuse me, come on. Oh, I hope I saved it. That's not good. I don't know why, but Maya seems always to be kind of flaky when you get into the UV side of things. Oh, I hope I saved something. So where were we? Those have been mapped, those have been mapped. I bet you I didn't save turning them into groups. Yes, so that's the only thing we lost. So let's just do that very fast. And did we lose the material on these as well? Let's go to edit, delete by type, history. And let's go to here. Stove panel M, great. So we just lost grouping. So we'll group, call this panel, and we can hide that now. And we can go to these, display, show selection, Control G those, just call that top, and now we can hide that out. I'm going to hit Control S to save. And now let's deal, so we have another group called knobs, which we're going to now delete. And we just need to do the same unwrap again on the entire object. So right click and layout, UVW, apply. Okay. Now, before I do anything else, I'm going to hit save. Now we're going to zoom in, go to shell mode, and grab the handles. And I'm going to go ahead and lay these out how I want them to be laid out, which I guess should be kind of like this. And we're going to artificially inflate their size so that there's more UV space that they can use. Something like that. Uh-oh. Again, Maya really does not like that for some reason. So let's try this one last time. This time I'm going to be even more careful with what I'm doing. There's our handles again. So let's grab them and let's keep our fingers crossed this time. It's going to crash. Wow. Huh. I don't know what to say, really. This is odd. I wonder what's doing it. Let's go to File. Try this one last time before I just let it be. And we'll just export things out as they are. So we're going to just not look at everything at once. Move these here and here. And I generally have an idea of where things need to go. So these should go up here. And then we're going to scale them and just stick them up there. Okay? Now we're going to grab all of it. That's fine. I'm going to hit Control Save really fast. And then now we can go to our object, our stove, and we have panel, we have top. We can go to display, show selection, and we should be good to go now. So instead of this being stove1 underscore G, I would rather have this be stove G underscore 1 and save that. Now we can export this out for Substance Painter and begin working with it. So let's go ahead and do File, or Edit, Delete by Type History, Modify, Freeze Transforms. I'm just going to do Scale, Apply, Close, File, Export Selection, FBX, go up to our Substance Painter folder, FBX Imports, and call this Stove. Hit Enter, let it do its job. And you know what? This video is going on 50 minutes at this point, which is a little longer than I like. So we're going to end here, and in the next one, we'll dive into substance painting this stovetop. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time. Feel free to comment below and let me know if you enjoy watching this or if I should just skip past all this crap and get to the chase. But yeah, so long.